my name is Muna Jondy. I was appointed by Governor Whitmer to the Michigan Women's Commission in 2019, and I was appointed as the chairwoman in 2020. My day job, I'm an immigration attorney and cooperating attorney for the American Civil Liberties Union of Michigan. I'm a child of immigrants, and they struggled as young people really until they made it here to the US. And then I've been privileged to get the benefits of their struggle, their financial and their moral support, to access really the benefits of education and higher learning. And I know that a lot of women don't have that. They didn't have that. They don't have that. So I feel like I do what I do because I feel like I've got to give back and I've got to do my part. And what my part means for each person, each woman is different. But for me, it's really been in the arena, I guess since I'm a lawyer, it's been in the arena of civil rights and really election protection. I mean, I think the issue of election protection has come up a lot more recently in the last few years, but it's really something I've been, volunteering for every election for over a decade now. The term visible, authentic leadership I love because visible doesn't always mean authentic. And you can have authentic leadership without a woman being visible. So I really like the fact that we're combining that idea of having women being both visible and authentic. And when I say authentic, obviously, to have women as token, just to be able to say, oh, look, we have a woman on our board or whatever, that's not very helpful if it's not authentic. So I think, what does it mean to have visible and authentic leadership for women? Really, it's about, if women are half a society, then that should be reflected in all arenas. And, our focus at the commission is obviously the idea of women being on corporate and nonprofit boards and in elected positions. And really, as of now, it's not the case, right? Like women are half a society, women are not half of visible, authentic leadership. And so we need to get there. The research shows that, companies with more female leadership increase in their profit margin. So really it's a win-win. It's a win for society. It's a win for society to have women, half of society represented. And it's a win for, corporations and nonprofits at the end of the day for their bottom dollar. I'd say a few things. One is I'd say never back down. Sometimes when you as a woman, you want to, or really anybody, but you decide you want to do something and then you find obstacles in your way. And, for women, depending on what field you're in, you might find more obstacles than others. It might make you disheartened and feel like, what, just forget it. I'm going to, move on and go do something else. And I think that you should just not back down in the sense that if you know that there's something that you want, then you need to go for it. And what that means is obviously not you keep doing the same thing over and hitting the brick wall, but it just means going back, remapping it and trying a different direction, but really don't back down. I'd also say find a mentor in your field. And I know that I say this a lot and people are probably, okay, we're not in the mentorship issue. But I really do feel that when you find another woman in your field that has gone through this and can help guide you and give you advice, really that's just invaluable. And I'm not saying that, you can't have other mentors, but I think that as women, we have a unique experience in each of our sort of career lines. And to have somebody that's already gone through that and is continuing to go through that with more years of experience, I think is just, it's an amazing thing to have. And then lastly, I would just say, never stop learning. Doesn't matter what field you're in, doing the work is important, but keeping up to date and getting more knowledge is just key, I think, forever. it's interesting because policy-wise, historically, this hasn't been treated with the urgency that it requires. I feel like our policy treats women's employment more like an add-on for families. Like, oh, women aren't really the, providers in their household, which of course we know is not true. Like across the country, over a quarter of households, the primary winners are women. So, we need to treat it policy-wise, I think, with the urgency that it requires. And really just the instability of all of this has really just made, if you look at the numbers of women that have just stepped out of the workforce, period, since the pandemic, it's really alarming. And so when you're saying like, what is the one thing? There's a lot of things, but I definitely think these wraparound services. So many women, that have children, they just can't manage, whether it is, childcare before school or after school programs. If you just think about it, like I have kids, but I was at an advantage where, one, financially, I was able to hire care on my own, in my home. And when I chose daycare, I was picky about where I could go, but that's because I was privileged to be able to do that. And I own my own practice, so I can be more flexible. Overwhelmingly, women are not in that position. And so what do you do when your child finishes school at 3:00 and you're working till 5:00? Like, how are you going to manage it? And now during the pandemic, you've got, schools will shut down if there's a COVID, a classroom has COVID. So then it's like, okay, you got to shut down for a week. What are you going to do with your kids at home for a week? So a lot of women, and I'm not saying that's the only reason, but a lot of women are like just this instability of not knowing from one week to the next whether, I'm going to have childcare or not. Has made a lot of women just decide I can't be managing both of these things, and so I'm going to take the pay hit. So I really think that having affordable, accessible childcare is really, to me, a very high priority